Well, for more, we're now joined by Neil Ellis, the Mayor of Belleville, Ontario. Mayor Ellis, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me today.
So the Premier, he's obviously heard your concerns. He says the province is going to help. And I know you have two specific asks here. Have you been told anything specifically by the Premier as to how he's going to be helping out your community?
No, and what we've asked is $2 million in capital for a new hub with wraparound services for the unhoused, and operating money for the hub. Sustainable operating funds. The staff from the hub have presented their issues or their operating expenses to the Minister of Health, and our MP is working towards a solution there. The $2 million, the city has invested $2 million of our own taxpayers' money in, and what I'm asking the province to do is match that $2 million to push the hub over the finish line and finish the renovations to the building, to have a proper building that is set out for counseling, is set out for social workers and those issues.
And really, and for people who are joining the conversation, this is a community addiction hub. You're also asking for money for a detox center. But, you know, those seem to be longer-term projects. You're dealing right now with an overdose crisis. How do those two specific asks help you deal with what's in front of you right now?
And I guess in the longer term, we're thinking the hub that we could get up by the fall and running. In the interim, we do need boots on the ground. So if they were able to get instant help here, it would help. But I think again, this is going to happen in all communities, and these are two items that we've been lobbying our MP for months. And I guess if we can get this brought, those two items are going to fix a longer term issue, but it's going to settle things down the road.
Now, and again, the Premier said he is willing to help. But, it was interesting to note that you spoke last week. When you declared the state of emergency last week for Belleville, you did speak with the Prime Minister. I'm kind of wondering what that conversation was like. Were you able to get any type of commitment of help from Justin Trudeau?
Again, the commitment was we can get you through this. We're looking at policy in general, but asking of what we need. I have a call right now that's I'm going to take later today or tomorrow with the Minister of Mental Health and Deputy Minister of Health, SARS, I think her name is, and she has phoned me once before, so they have our ask too, and hopefully we can work towards solving them.
Does that give you any hope? Are you satisfied with what you're hearing so far, or is it frustrating?
I'm satisfied because we made a motion in council in it would have been in the late December, I believe. And the motion was to ask the provincial government to take a look at our issues here, and we've never heard back from that motion. So, 3 months later, we haven't got any pickup on that motion. Now things have hit, and obviously I've been contacted by the two highest politicians in Ontario, and they both know firsthand, and they've spoken with me. If that's the case, I think that they're willing to help, and we need to get to that point in resources to this issue is going to be with us for a long time, if not even solvable. So we can't stick our head in the sand. We have to get help and help the people that are suffering from the three issues.
It's interesting you say you've been dealing with it for a long time, because as a city, Belleville is certainly known for its waterfront trails, parks, local shops, really more with that. But now you're dealing with this issue that's often more associated with larger cities. Are you at all surprised with what you've had to respond to here?
No, every city around us is dealing with it, all rural towns. And I sit on a lot of boards and meet with a lot of mayors. And the Mayor of Kingston phoned me today. The Mayor of Guelph is mentioning it out in the press. Mayor Bancroft has the issues. You look at Deserano, Napanese, these are all small towns. I was out with a councillor today from Prince Edward County, and they have the same issues over there. It might be more centered in Belleville and the surrounding area because we have the resources, whether it's to drop drop-in center that we have now, but we are the mecca or the biggest city around, so it's going to probably affect us more. But Bancroft, I believe their numbers are well over 20, and their population would be, around the 2,000 to 3,000 people mark, and it's affected all small towns. So this has brought a lot of light, I guess, to the issues. But every mayor, this is one of the major issues. And when we go to Roma or when we go to our conferences, there is always talk and seminars on the unhoused and the opioid crisis and how it's affecting our community.
So for government leaders and policymakers, because oftentimes we hear mainly about larger cities, how do you hope your current challenge informs the kind of decisions, the kind of priorities they make when they talk about Canada's illicit drug problem?
Well, I think that first of all, you've got to get back to a plan of housing first, and it's got to get to transitional housing and treatment until we get to the point that we have the resources, and that is human capital and capital in general, and the housing first, and work around the issues of mental health and drug addiction. That is the gold standard, or that is the most solvable to tackle this issue. And I've met and talked to the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness, Tim Richter, and they are preaching the same. Housing first and move from there. But when you look at housing first, we do not have the resources to build the houses and to house them. Municipalities get about 9% of every tax dollar, and we provide 67% of the services. So when you look at that proportional, how are we supposed to fix the unhoused, mental illness, and drug addiction? It's totally a provincial issue.
Mayor Neil Ellis, thank you for this. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, thank you. Take care.